What up, guys? It's your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report on iHeartRadio, live from Dubai for Tuesday, April 5th, 2016, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo. That's RAYMELO. On Twitter at The Enter Report, or on Instagram at The Entertainment Report. You can listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart phone app, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Taylor Swift mentioned her boyfriend, musician Calvin Harris, during her acceptance speech for the iHeartRadio Award for Tour of the Year for Sunday night. Swift said, "For the first time, I had the most amazing person to come home to when the crowds were all gone and the spotlight went out, so I'd like to thank my boyfriend Adam for that," using her beau's real name, which is Adam Richard Wiles. Swift was also honored with the prizes for Female Artist of the Year and Album of the Year for 1989. Adele's Hello was named Song of the Year, Justin Bieber was deemed Male Artist of the Year, and Fetty Wap was declared New Artist of the Year. Maroon 5 took home the award for Duo or Group of the Year. Jason Aldean was declared Entertainer of the Year at the 51st Academy of Country Music Awards ceremony in Las Vegas Sunday night. Dolly Parton was presented with the Tex Ritter Award for her TV movie Coats of Many Colors. The prize was established to, quote, recognize a motion picture that featured country music and received major exposure, the organization said. Chris Stapleton won Male Vocalist of the Year, New Male Vocalist of the Year, Album of the Year for Traveler, and Song of the Year for Nobody to Blame. Miranda Lambert won Female Vocalist of the Year for the 7th consecutive year, setting a new record for the most consecutive wins in that category. Lambert also won Vocal Event of the Year for Smoking and Drinking with Little Big Town, a band that earned the Vocal Group of the Year title as well. Thomas Rhett won Single Record of the Year for Die Happy Man, and Kelsla Ballerina was named New Female Vocalist of the Year. Eric Church won Video of the Year for Mr. Misunderstood, and Florida Georgia Line won Vocal Duo of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. Dave Bautista confirmed he will star in Blade Runner 2 in a video post Monday. The actor said, "As speculated, I am proud and privileged and honored to announce that I'm joining the cast of the new Blade Runner. I'm very excited about this project. I'm very grateful that I was able to bring this news to you myself. Couldn't be more proud. Another dream come true." Alcon Entertainment also confirmed the news in a press release, saying story details and Bautista's characters will be kept under wraps. Dave Bautista was teasing his involvement with Blade Runner 2. The 47-year-old former WWE star hinted at a role in the sequel by posting a photo of himself holding an origami unicorn similar to the one in the original 1982 movie. The Guardians of the Galaxy actor captioned the picture, "I can't wait to share some really exciting news. Sicario director Denis Villeneuve will helm the new film, with original director Ridley Scott as executive producer. Harrison Ford, who played Rick Deckard, will return for the sequel, but reportedly only appears in the 3rd act." Scott said of himself and returning Blade Runner writer Hampton Fancher in an interview with Variety, "We talked at length about what it could be and came up with a pretty strong 3-act storyline. He revealed it all makes sense in terms of how it relates to the first one. Harrison is very much part of this one, but really it's about finding him. He comes in the 3rd act." The Blade Runner sequel will take place decades after the first movie and co-star Ryan Gosling and Robin Wright. The film will begin principal photography in July and is scheduled to open in theaters January 12, 2018. Game of Thrones and Star Wars The Force Awakens actress Jessica Henwick has joined the cast of Marvel's Iron Fist on Netflix. Henwick will play Colleen Wigg, a martial arts expert running her own dojo who will serve as an invaluable ally to Danny Rand, played by Finn Jones, as he returns to his life in New York, the Marvel website said. Executive producer and showrunner Scott Buck said in a statement, "I'm very excited to have Jessica as our Colleen Wigg. She shows us that she can bring both a sense of quiet strength as well as an engaging vulnerability to the character." Joseph Loeb, executive producer and head of Marvel Television, said Jessica brings both a youthful vitality mixed with a strong sense of authority crucial to the character. And as anyone who has seen her in Game of Thrones can attest, she can throw down with the best of them, making her the perfect Colleen Wigg. Jones played Seer Loras Tyrell on Game of Thrones, while Henwick plays Namira Sand on the medieval fantasy series. And in a related story, Kit Harington continues to be asked about his Game of Thrones character Jon Snow's fate, recently taking part in a lie detector test on the Jonathan Ross show. The actor appeared on the British late-night show Saturday, where he was asked to place his hand inside a funny-looking stone of truth, where he would be shocked if host Ross wasn't satisfied with his answers regarding HBO's hit fantasy series. Ross asked, referring to how Jon Snow was last seen meeting his ultimately end during the closing moments of Season 5, "Are you dead?" Harington answered yes, in which he was shocked, much to the audience's delight. When asked the same question once again, Harington was shocked with a stronger jolt, leading him up to get up suddenly in surprise. Ross then later asked, "Do you become a White Walker," hoping to find out potential plot points for the upcoming season. Harington replied, "No." Since the ending of Season 5, Harington and HBO have been adamant that Jon Snow really is dead. He insisted back in January, whatever happens in the next season will be very exciting, but Jon Snow is dead, I'm afraid. I think speculation is great for the show, but fans shouldn't get their hopes up about anything because Game of Thrones is very good at dashing hopes, he continued. Game of Thrones Season 6 will premiere April 24th on HBO. Recently, Harington and former Thrones co-star Rose Leslie made their red carpet debut as a couple. Caitlyn Jenner will guest star on the Amazon original series Transparent. Showrunner Jill Soloway announced at the 2016 GLAAD Media Awards that the 66-year-old television personality will appear on the comedy's upcoming third season. Soloway posted a photo of herself with Jenner and several other stars at the ceremony, writing, "It all happens in the ladies' room, #TransparentTV, #GLAAD Awards." Jenner herself shared a photo with Transparent star Judith Light. She captioned the snapshot, "So excited to be at the #GLAAD Awards tonight with the incredible @Judith Light and the rest of this wonderful crowd. #Transparent, I am Kate." Transparent won Outstanding Comedy Series for a second consecutive year at the awards show. Jenner and her e-reality series I Am Kate, meanwhile tied for Outstanding Reality Program with TLC's series I Am Jazz. The television personality said, "I'm honored to share this award with Jazz. Getting to know the people at GLAAD have been a tremendous experience for me. They have helped me so much working my way through the landmines of the trans world in the last year." Jenner came out as a transgender last April and debuted her new look on the July cover of Vogue. I Am Kate documents her transition and airs Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jenner's ex-spouse Kris Jenner will appear on the April 10th episode. Simpsons character Waylon Smithers Jr. has come out as gay in the latest episode of the long-running animated series. The episode, entitled The Burns Cage, premiered Sunday and featured Homer Simpson on the lookout for a new match for Smithers after he realizes that his true love, the conniving Mr. Burns, would never feel the same way about him. After leaving his job as Mr. Burns' assistant, Smithers gets together with fellow Springfield citizen Julio before eventually deciding to come back to work alongside the power plant mogul after the relationship doesn't pan out. Although Smithers was portrayed as gay on The Simpsons for 27 seasons, Sunday marked the first time he came out. The Simpsons writer Rob Liebenick told the New York Post, "We didn't really want to have that big moment of I'm out, Instead, just have it be in a big embrace like everyone knows it." Liebenick also noted that the episode was inspired by his own son, who came out while in high school. He said, "I'm a Midwestern guy, so I don't tend to wear my emotions on my sleeve, but I thought, what better way to tell my son I love him than to write a cartoon about it." Megan Hilty will guest star on CBS's series The Good Wife. The network confirmed the 35-year-old actress will appear on a forthcoming Season 7 episode after star Matthew Morrison teases Hilty's guest spot on Instagram. The actor captioned a photo of himself facing off with Hilty, Glee vs. Smash on @thegoodwife_CBS, #TV show collide @Megan Hilty. Hilty and Morrison starred on the musical series Smash and Glee, respectively. The actress will play Holly Westfall, a rival business owner of Diane Lockhart's husband, Kurt McVie, played by Gary Cole. Morrison, meanwhile, joined The Good Wife as a recurring character, Connor Fox, in Season 7. The character is an assistant U.S. attorney investigating Alicia Florricks, played by Juliana Margulies' husband, Peter, played by Chris Noth. The Good Wife will come to a close in May after a seventh and final season. Series co-creators Robert and Michelle King told reporters in February they felt, quote, very fortunate and flattered to be ending the show, quote, the way they hoped it would end. Hilty is known for playing Ivy Lynn on Smash and Liz on Sean Saves the World. She also portrayed Glinda in Wicked and Dora Lee in 9 to 5, the musical on Broadway. Vicki Gunvalson and Tamra Judge were hospitalized Saturday after a scary four-wheeling accident. Law enforcement sources told TMZ that Real Housewives of Orange County stars were riding in a Polaris RZR dung buggy when the vehicle flipped and rolled over several times. Eyewitnesses reported both women complained of back and neck pain and that Gunvalson was vomiting and couldn't feel her fingers. Gunvalson was airlifted from the scene and released Sunday morning with no major injuries. She captioned a photo of the helicopter that airlifted her her out. Thank you, everyone, for your thoughts and prayers. Hashtag it wasn't our time. Judge, who was driving the four-wheeler, was also hospitalized the day of the incident. She confirmed the news in a Facebook post, thanking fans for their, quote, prayers and concerns. She wrote, "We are both pretty beat up, but very lucky to be alive. I've never been so scared in my life. As a driver, I have an overwhelming amount of guilt, and thank God for that the four of us are alive." Judge followed up by denying she was drinking alcohol and slammed claims she was told to slow down while driving. She called the incident, quote, an unfortunate accident coming off top of the dune and landing wrong. TBS says it has ordered 26 more episodes of the weekly satirical news and chat program Full Frontal with Samantha Bee. The season will now include 39 installments, taking the show to the end of 2016. Bee said in a statement announcing the order of additional episodes, "Stay crazy, America. I'll be here all year." Brett Weitz, the executive vice president of original programming for TBS, says Sam has positioned herself as an essential voice in late night. It's pretty clear she struck a nerve and filled a void. The series debuted in February and airs Monday nights before Conan. Casey Reinhardt and her husband Sean Brown are expecting their first child. The 29-year-old television personality announced the news in an Instagram post Monday, just over 6 weeks after she and Brown married in Newport Coast, California. Reinhardt captioned a photo of her baby bump. "We're so thrilled to announce we're having a baby. Life is truly so beautiful and exciting for us right now. We feel beyond blessed and so incredibly excited." She also added in a statement to E! News, "Our sweet little angel is already surrounded by so much love. We feel absolutely blessed and cannot wait to be parents." Reinhardt and Brown met as children in Boulder, Colorado, and got engaged in August. The couple married at the resort at Pelican Hill in February, with Brown's cousins O.J. Simpson and Nicole Brown Simpson's children Sydney and Justin in attendance. Reinhardt wrote after the ceremony, "Last night was the most magical, incredibly most emotional night of my life. I because Mrs. Casey Beau Brown, and I get to spend the rest of my life with the most amazing man who ever walked this earth." She added in a post of their 1-month wedding anniversary, "I truly love you more and more every day, and I cherish every second being married to you at Sean M. Brown 1. Reinhardt came to fame on MTV's reality series Laguna Beach and went on to win Food Network's competition Cupcake Wars. She has since opened her own cupcake stores, Casey's Cupcakes, in 5 locations in California. Rapper and actor T.I. announced his daughter's name on social media Monday. The 35-year-old recording artist born Clifford Joseph Harris Jr. revealed he and wife Tamika Cottle, a.k.a. Tiny, named their baby girl Eris. He captioned a photo of himself leaving the hospital with the infant. "Welcome home, Eris. The ride begins. Hashtag family hustle over everything." T.I., who also goes by Tip, and Tiny welcomed their daughter on March 26 and announced her birth the next day. The couple also share 11-year-old son King and 7-year-old son Major. Tiny said in a statement, "In true Harris fashion, our baby girl made us all hustle, making a surprise early entrance. While we expect her to arrive around April 20th, our perfect baby girl decided March 26th was the right time for her debut." She revealed, "My husband Tip Harris went from the stage right to the plane from his show in Las Vegas and luckily made it to Atlanta with time to spare. Our whole plan was together to see our beautiful, healthy baby girl make her way into the world." Tiny and T.I. married in 2010 and went on to star on 5 seasons of VH1's reality series, T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle. The rapper is also dad to teenagers Messiah, Damani, and Deja, while Tiny is mom to 20-year-old Zonika. Jason Derulo channels Rick James in a newly released preview clip for an upcoming episode of Spike's hit music competition series Lip Sync Battle. The video released Monday featured Derulo dressed as the iconic James, complete with a wig and a sparkling black ensemble as he mimics the lyrics to the late star's 1981 mega hit Super Freak. Dancing alongside a gather of female performers, Derulo perfectly displays James' signature dance moves and hip thrusts as hosts Ella Cool J and Chrissy Teigen look on. Also presented in Derulo's competition for Lip Sync Battle, American Idol alum Catherine McPhee, who will face off against the R&B star on April 7th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with her own yet-to-be-revealed lip-singing rendition of a popular song. Nick Carter has confirmed he and his fellow Backstreet Boys bandmates are planning a limited Las Vegas concert residency and a possible tour with the Spice Girls. Carter said in a phone interview with UPI last week to promote his sci-fi movie Dead 7, a zombie-themed western co-starring members of the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, O-Town, and 98 Degrees. We are going to do 9 shows coming up within the next 6-7 months, a trial run in Las Vegas, and if people will show up and Vegas likes us, then we'll do a residency later on. When asked about the rumors that the Backstreet Boys might unite with the British pop icons, the Spice Girls, for a tour, Carter replied, "We'd love to. We threw the invitation out. Now the girls have to digest it and make a decision." The musician also said that he still enjoys collaborating with his fellow boy banders and acting with them on Dead 7, far exceeding his expectations. He recalled, "It went better than I hoped. We all share some similar stories and experiences coming from the world that we have been in the industry, so it was amazing to share those stories and just to have that bonding experience. We've talked about it. We'd love to do a movie together again." Kesha has been offered contract freedom from Dr. Luke if she denies her rape allegations against the producer, the singer claimed on social media. Kesha wrote on Instagram Sunday of the alleged deal she was offered alongside a selfie. "I got offered my freedom if I were to lie. I would have to apologize publicly and say that I never got raped." She continued by saying, "This is what happens behind closed doors. I would not take back the truth. I would rather let the truth ruin my career than lie for a monster ever again." Kesha failed in February to become contractually separated from Dr. Luke and his Kemosabe Records, imprint owned by Sony Music, when New York Supreme Court Justice Shirley Carnreich ruled against her injunction amid allegations that Dr. Luke sexually, physically, and verbally abused her. She said at the court hearing, "You're asking the court to decimate a contract that was heavily negotiated and typical for the industry." In March, Kesha appealed the judge's denial of her injunction, seeking a second opinion and a way for the singer to record new music under a different label. Kesha's claims of being offered a way out of a contract on social media elicited a response from Dr. Luke and his legal team. They said in a statement to Rolling Stones, the court repeatedly stated Kesha is already free to record without Dr. Luke and that she has not presented any facts supporting her claims. That's because all the evidence, including Kesha's own videotaped sworn testimony, shows her allegations are false. They continue by saying the only thing Kesha is not free to do is to continue to lie about Dr. Luke through publicity stunts and outrageous smears, ignoring the fact that by her own free will, she went to work and entered into new contracts with Dr. Luke years after this incident supposedly happened. Her goal all along has been solely personal enrichment by seeking to breach contracts that brought her success and millions so she can enter into more lucrative ones. We look forward to our day in court holding Kesha accountable for her lies. Carnreich also dismissed lawsuits filed by Kesha's mother and manager that Dr. Luke, real name Lucas Galtwald, had sexually abused the singer 10 years ago. And let's take a look at what happened on this date in entertainment history. On this date in 1968, James Brown calms Boston following the King assassination. On the morning after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., city officials in Boston, Massachusetts were scrambling to prepare for an unexpected second straight night of violent unrest. Similar preparations were being made in cities across America, including the nation's capital, where armed units of the regular army patrolled outside the White House and U.S. Capitol following President Johnson's state of emergency declaration. But Boston would be nearly alone among America's major cities in remaining quiet and calm that turbulent Friday night, thanks in large part to one of the least quiet and calm musical performers of all time. On the night of April 5th, 1968, James Brown kept the peace in Boston by the sheer force of his music and his personal charisma. Brown's appearance that night at the Boston Garden had been scheduled for months, but it nearly didn't happen. Following a night of riots and fires in the predominantly black Roxbury and South End sections of the city, Boston's young Mayor Kevin White gave serious consideration to canceling an event that some feared would bring the same kind of violence into the city's center. The racial components of those fears was very much on the surface of a city in which schools integration and mandatory busing had played a major role in the recent mayoral election. Mayor White faced a politically impossible choice, angered black Bostonians by canceling Brown's concert over transparently racial fears or antagonizing the law and order crowd by simply ignoring those fears. The idea that resolve The mayor's dilemma came from a young African-American city councilman named Tom Atkins, who proposed going on with the concert, but finding a way to mount a free live broadcast of the show in the hopes of keeping most Bostonians at home in front of the TV sets rather than on the streets. Atkins and wife convinced public television station WGBH to carry the concert on short notice, but convincing James Brown took some doing. Due to a non-compete agreement relating to an upcoming television concert, Brown stood to lose roughly $60,000 if his Boston show were to televise. The ever savvy businessman, James Brown, made his financial needs known to Mayor White, who made the very wise decision to meet them. The broadcast of Brown's concert had the exact effect it was intended to, as Boston saw less crime that night that would be expected on Perfectly Normal Friday in April. There was a moment, however, when it appeared that the plan might backfire, as a handful of young male fans, most but not all of them black, began climbing on stage mid-concert, while Boston policemen began forcibly pushing them back. Sensing the volatile of the situation, Brown urged the cops to back away from the stage, then addressed the crowd. Wait a minute, now, wait, Brown said. Step down now, be a gentleman. Now I asked the police to step back because I think I could get some respect from my own people. Brown successfully restored order while keeping the police away from the crowd and continued the successful peacekeeping concert in the honor of the slain Dr. King on this date in 1968. Also on this date in 1994, Kurt Cobain commits suicide. Modern rock icon Kurt Cobain commits suicide on this date in 1994. His body was discovered inside his home in Seattle, Washington, 3 days later by Gary Smith, an electrician who was installing a security system in a suburban house. Despite the indications that Cobain, the lead singer of Nirvana, killed himself, several speculative questions the circumstances of his death and pinned responsibility on his wife, Courtney Love. At least 2 books, including one penned by Love's estranged father, and a nationally released documentary, Kurt and Courtney, openly expressed doubt that Cobain killed himself and all but accused Love of having her husband killed. Her volatile reputation and healthy list of enemies helped to circulate the rumor. However, police have concluded that Cobain's death was the result of suicide. Cobain's downward spiral began taking shape in Italy the previous month. He went into a coma and nearly died after mixing champagne and the drug Refinol. The public was led to believe that the coma was induced by an accidental heroin overdose, since Cobain had a well-known problem with the drug. Back at home in Seattle, the police were called to Cobain and Love's home when he again threatened to kill himself. Although Cobain stated in a 1981 interview that he didn't believe in guns, the officers confiscated 4 from his possession. As his wife and friends watched him spin out of control, they attempted to intervene. Cobain most ignored their concerns, but reluctantly checked into a rehabilitation clinic in Los Angeles at the end of March. On March 30th, Cobain walked away from the clinic without informing his family and friends. For the next few days, Love could not locate him and decided to hire a private detective on April 3rd. The detective made contact with Cobain the following day in Seattle, but Cobain refused to return to Los Angeles. In the meantime, Cobain had convinced a friend to buy him a gun, claiming he needed it for protection. On April 5th, Cobain returned home. He ingested enough Valium and heroin to reach near-fatal levels. In the apartment above the garage was Cobain's sloppy written suicide note, quoting Neil Young's lyric that it is better to burn out than to fade away. Also on this date in 2008, Charlton Heston dies. Best known in his later years as the outspoken president of the NRA, the actor Charlton Heston first earned reputation in Hollywood for playing larger-than-life figures in epic movies such as The Ten Commandments and Ben-Hur. Born on October 4th, 1923 and raised in the Midwest, Heston caught the attention bug in high school for acting in high school. He later attended Northwestern University. He landed his first major role in the 1947 production of Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra on Broadway, and 3 years later made his film debut in Dark City. Impressed with the young actor's screen presence, the legendary director Cecil B. DeMille cast Heston as the manager of the circus in The Greatest Show on Earth in 1952. 4 years later, DeMille gave Heston the role that would make him famous, that of the biblical hero Moses in The Ten Commandments. With his leading man status confirmed, Heston went on to star in other notable films for Hollywood's best directors. In 1958, he played a Mexican narcotics detective in Orson Welles' Touch of Evil and appeared opposite Welles himself. Another biblical epic, Ben-Hur, in 1959, directed by William Wilder, won a then record 11 Academy Awards, a mark that was later tied by Titanic in 1998 and The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King in 2004. Heston took home an Oscar for Best Actor for his portrayal of a rebellious young aristocrat in ancient Judea. In all, Heston would appear in some 100 movies of the big and small screens over the course of his lengthy career. He played a title character in the Spanish medieval epic El Cid in 1961 opposite Sophia Loren, and was panned by critics for his turn as Michelangelo in The Agony and the Ecstasy in 1965. He portrayed Mark Antony in both Julius Caesar in 1970 and Anthony Cleopatra in 1973. He also directed the latter film. Heston also made forays into the Western genre in 1968's Willie Penny, science fiction, the 1968 hit The Planet of the Apes, and its 1970 sequel, 1971's Omega Man, and 1973's Soylent Green, and highbrow literary adaptations like 1972's The Call of the Wild and 1973's The Three Musketeers. His later work for cable television included A Man for All Seasons, 1988, and The Avenging Angel, 1995. Long active in political and social causes, Heston publicly supported the civil rights movement and participated in the historic March on Washington with Martin Luther King Jr. in 1963. In 1966, Heston succeeded his friend and fellow actor Ronald Reagan as president of the Screen Actors Guild, a post he would hold until 1971. He also served as chairman of the American Film Institute from 1973 to 1983. After Reagan won the U.S. presidency in 1980, he appointed Heston as the co-chairman of a task force on arts and humanities. In this role, Heston defended the National Endowment for the Arts and proved to be an effective speaker and public figure. According to his obituary in the New York Times, Heston switched his political affiliation from Democrat to Republican in 1987 after the Democrats blocked the Supreme Court appointment of Robert Bork, a conservative whom Heston supported. Over the next decade, Heston began increasingly to speak out about what he saw as the decline of morality in American popular culture and entertainment. In 1996, he campaigned on behalf of various Republican candidates. He began focusing specifically on the opposition to gun control. After being elected vice president of the NRA in 1997, he became president the following year. Heston parlayed his rugged on-screen persona into a forceful role at the head of the NRA campaigns against what it saw as the federal government's attempt to encroach the constitutional right to bear arms. In 2000, he made a memorable speech at the NRA's annual convention, bringing his audience to their feet with the rousing claim that gun control advocates would have to pray his guns from my cold, dead hands. Meanwhile, Heston continued acting through the 1990s, making one of his final film appearances uncredited in Tim Burton's 2001 remake of The Planet of the Apes. And as your entertainment report for Tuesday, April 5th, 2016, I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo. I'll be back tomorrow to deliver some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo. That's RAYMELO. On Twitter at The Enter Report, or on Instagram at The Entertainment Report. You can listen to this episode or any previous episodes of The Entertainment Report anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart phone app, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Good night, and God bless you all.